Hi everyone, welcome back to OC Everywhere. Today I'm going to be introducing you to the new birds that we've picked up from Stafford and some that we got before the show, which are going to be going straight into this season's breeding plans. So let's introduce you to them. The first pair is the birds behind me. Now this is a very unusual British finch species. It's rare that you're going to see them in the wild, and if you do see them in the wild, it's unlikely that you're going to see them from spring until autumn, because this is a winter migratory species, and that is the Brambling, also known as the Bramblefinch. The Brambling is a very close relative to the chaffinch, so two similar species. They have very similar dietary requirements and they breed in a very similar sort of habitat, same time of year, and they're just very similar to them. There's practically no difference other than the colour and the migratory instincts of them. Now, they're quite interesting that they're completely insectivorous during the breeding season, so it's going to be like keeping a softbill. At this moment in time, we've got them on a basic British finch mix as well as a Greenfinch mix. They're eating all of it, so I can't tell you what their favourite is at this moment in time. In the breeding season, they're going to need a lot more insects. So I've started to wean them onto different things that I am going to be able to source and feed them on. So the first thing is a Bevo softbill mix, and this is like an insect-based egg food is the best way of describing it. I want to try and give them that all the time, so they've always got a supply of high protein food that's not hard seed. I think it might work better. Don't quote me on this because I haven't tried it yet, but we'll find out this breeding season. But I do think the softbill mix might come in good use. I'm also giving them some mini waxworms, which they're taking very readily, and there's something that's going to be really important when they have youngsters, especially from days 1 to 4, when the youngsters are very small. They're going to need these very small insects to feed them on. And I'm also started giving them mealworms as well. So they've got a good increase in protein in their diet, especially as the weather warms up as we come towards the breeding season. I don't expect them really to do anything until May to June. Maybe we'll get a round, maybe we'll get 2 rounds out of them if we're lucky, but they are a proven pair. So something really good and exciting to look forward to this breeding season. And the plan will be to house them in this exact flight cage. They're going to get the whole 6 foot thing, so that's 6 foot by 2 foot by 3 foot high. Nest site in the far corner with a nest cam over it is the plan, and hopefully they click and we get some baby bramblings this season. Next up is perhaps one of Britain's most famous birds, and that is the native goldfinch. For 2 years, people have been asking me, Ollie, when are you going to be bringing some goldfinches on? And I've been asking myself that same question, trying to sort some out for 2 years. I've been looking and just not found anything that quite was suitable, but now an opportunity came up and I absolutely jumped at it. So we've got 3 native goldfinches. We've got a young pair, a 2022 bred pair, and an older cockbird, all captive bred close-rung birds, of course. So we're going to be splitting the young pair up as they are brother and sister. We're going to use the cockbird for muling or hybridising, and we're going to use the hen with the older cockbird as a pair for the breeding season. I think I'm going to put a pair in here, so they're going to get a 3 foot by 3 foot by 2 foot wide sort of flight cage. We'll put a nest pan in the corner, and I don't really expect them to breed until May, because that's when goldfinches usually will come into condition, especially in the wild. And the best way that you can tell if goldfinches are in condition is that their beak turns from a sort of white colour with a black line down the middle to just completely white. The cockbird's singing, wagging his tail, and it's just quite obvious that they are in condition. So it's a good month yet, the temperatures are rising and the light is increasing, so I'm really looking forward to having these guys on the channel. So do make sure to let me know in the comment section below what you think. It comes to no surprise that some new canaries have made their way to the bird room here at OC Avery, some intentionally, some unintentional. So the first is a pair of birds I was given at Stafford, a pair of brown agate opals. You can see the cockbird here has been colour fed as he's got an orange face, but after the breeding season he'll molt out completely yellow. We'll be looking to breed those straight this season, and then in future we'll combine them with the yellow agate opals that we do have. The next is a pair of red factor canaries you haven't seen on the channel before. I swapped these for a linnet cockbird off a good friend. I need another pair of feeder canaries, and this is exactly what I've got. So an intensive red cockbird and the buff hen, who I believe might be an ivory, but don't quote me on that. And then finally a pair of crossbreds that I brought in from a good friend from down south. He has got a fantastic line of feeders for his Siberian goldfinches. One is a harlequin based hen, I think. The cockbird might be harlequin based as well, as he's a crested bird, but is quite round. So 3 new pairs of canaries for this breeding season you can look forward to seeing, and hopefully will do me a good job of feeding British birds and other canaries and mules and hybrids this breeding season. If you was here last breeding season, you'll know that the main birds we focus on are European greenfinches and lesser redpolls. We breed them to an exhibition standard so we can show them and compete up and down the UK and hopefully one day in Europe at the World Show. So fingers crossed for that, but that'll be in the future. Therefore, we've of course brought on some new ones of both of those. So the first is a beautiful little lesser redpoll hen. It's a fantastic colour, really good markings, and it's from a very, very good line that does do a lot of competing around the UK. So really looking forward to having that bird on. It's a young hen, so hopefully we'll have her for a couple of seasons, and hopefully she'll do well for us and she'll breed us a good number of youngsters, all of which will be quality. So fingers crossed for that. And then there's 2 lovely European greenfinch hens. Now, I'm building my line around a specific stud because I like the stamp that they've got, I like the bird that they breed. So the first bird I've brought back is sort of distantly related to those, but it's still got that same blood in there, which I think, or hope, will combine nicely with the cockbirds that I've got here. The other is, again, from a very, very good competitive line, however a lot more distantly if unrelated to mine. So I'm hoping that these 2 birds are going to bring in a good amount of quality to them. They're from good pedigrees and they're hopefully going to breed me nice birds that are going to be not too closely related when it comes further down the line for different pairings. So touch wood, all goes well, and it won't be long before we're pairing all these guys up at the start of April. Now this here is an interesting little bird I brought back. It's not mine, I don't own it. I picked it up for a friend and I kept it for a week until I could collect it. So this is a Wheatear. Now it's a British softbill species commonly seen on farmland and moorland. It's not particularly big, it's probably the size of a greenfinch really, but of course it is a softbill, so it eats softbill mix, it eats loads of insects, it doesn't touch hard seeds. So a lovely little bird nevertheless. Something that was actually really nice to just have because I wasn't sure how it would react being in here in a cage, but it was absolutely fine, which gives me hope that maybe one day, maybe next breeding season, we could have some sort of small softbill. So maybe that's something you'd like, and do keep a lookout on the channel because we will be getting some small softbills at some point after this breeding season. You may wonder why you hadn't seen any of these new birds sort of previous to this, why you didn't see them the week after Stafford, and it's quite simple reasons, because I've been quarantining them. I want to make sure that any birds I brought back were free of disease, they were fit and they were healthy before they joined all my other stock that's in here. I want to make sure I'm as secure as possible from as many diseases and any problems like that. So I've quarantined them, they've all been separate up until moving them in with the other birds that they're going to be conditioned with for the next 2 weeks until we pair up at the start of April. So if you have enjoyed today's video and you'd like to see more from OC Avery, then please make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss any more of that future content. If you've enjoyed it today, do smash a like on it as well, and do make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for daily updates on all of the British birds and canaries here at OC Avery. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.